Quick tour of the Goofy greenhouse since the Facebook Live thing didn't work for me at all. 0% success there. So we'll just get right into it. Here we have a little baby astragalus that I'm very happy about. Scored that in Maine along with these ashwagandhas that are slowly establishing, and all of these beds are about to get a nice thick layer of compost. This here is awapui ginger. The awapui is the traditional shampoo ginger, and you use it by massaging the sappy juices out of the flower buds. I've never seen it flower yet, so I'll have to find out about that in the future. Here we have the Indira yellow turmeric. It's definitely one of the more vigorous varieties, very tough, very happy to go bonkers, especially in the greenhouse. Here we have a colocasia, which is commonly known as taro, and we're experimenting with some taro cultivation. You can see another little one right back there. And on this row we've got taro, yacon, taro, yacon, all the way down the line. There are some sweet potatoes interplanted here, some special varieties from Yana Fishman, but the rabbits have kind of done us in the sweet potato department. One thing that they're not messing with at all is this purple ube yam from Andy Firk. This is a beautiful one, and I'm just getting a close-up here of the leaves for Andy so that he can potentially identify it and figure out which variety this is, because I forgot to mark the variety, just that it was a purple one. What else? So these two beds, that bed we left dormant because there was a king snake in it earlier in the year. There's actually two king snakes, possibly male and female mating, so we wanted to leave that bed alone for them. This bed I planted out ginger, and only a few of them are really doing well. Ginger seems to be a lot more picky than the turmeric. The turmeric here is doing great. These two gingers are doing okay. They seem to like a bit more shade. Here's more turmeric. A lot of these were just from the store, and we planted out little nubbins last year from like the Chinese grocery store, the Asian market, and we grew them out all last year and then planted them back with the whole plant this year. And so probably next year will be the first year that we actually harvest from them. The more that you plant, the more vigorous the plant gets, and the more of a return you get for your investment. Andy pointed out I'm a great investment banker because I invest in seeds and then they turn into plants and they multiply. And this one here is a super special one. So this is a really big beefy turmeric, and it seems like, whoa, what's up with that turmeric on steroids? I think this one is actually the Curcuma xanthorrhiza. I ordered it on Etsy from like some faraway place. I want to say Thailand. Here's a little volunteer. This is what happens when you do tropicals in a greenhouse. You bring plants up from Florida and you bring soil up from Florida. You end up with Phyllanthus urinaria in your pots. This is the Chanca piedra, the classic stonebreaker of South American herbalism. They call it stonebreaker or Chanca piedra. But to get back to this Curcuma xanthorrhiza, look at the size of that corm. It's probably 4 inches across, the whole corm. It's as wide as my fingers, which is about 4 inches. And then here we've got more of these turmerics that we got at the Asian market. Or no, actually these are Green Pharmacy Garden ones that we harvested last year, the little fingers, and they were sprouting this spring, so I went ahead and planted them back. And this whole bed here is all the Green Pharmacy Garden, the main corms. Like when you grow turmeric, you'll see that there's one big root, like the one I just showed you on the Curcuma xanthorrhiza. They call it a corm. And that corm is really what seems to have the most energy. So when you plant that back, you get big vigorous plants that go crazy and produce a lot more than if you were to just plant nubs. And then here's more of that Green Pharmacy garden turmeric that we grew out last year. We grew it last year, harvested 10 pounds, and planted back all of these corms. And so it doubled in terms of like the number of plants that we have this year. And we got 10 pounds, and that was out of one bed like this, one little 4-foot by 4-foot bed without a whole lot of care or attention. This bed actually just got some super awesome compost under it, and all the rest of these are going to get the same. I'm going to spread a whole bunch of compost under there. You can see there's all kinds of little weeds just starting to pop up, so probably rake the soil a little bit just to kill those off, and then let them keep going. Here's another special plant from Yana Fishman. This is Maranta arundica. It's commonly known as arrowroot, and that arrowroot is a really awesome starch and supposedly a really tasty food. Here's another awapui ginger, and then back there is some kind of a special turmeric. I want to say it's a Hawaiian red, but I'm not sure. And then here's some turmerics that we planted late, and I'm going to fill this bed in with more turmerics from Yana Fishman. This bed is also going to get all planted out in turmeric. This is where we had the sweet potato slips earlier this year, so you can see these 3 beds that have the least going on are the ones where the sweet potato slips were. So yeah, there's a quick little tour of the Goofy greenhouse, and I hope you all enjoyed it. And please keep in mind that you don't necessarily need a greenhouse to grow things like yakan and taro and turmeric and ashwagandha and all of these things. We just put them in here because they're heat-loving plants. We want to give them the longest possible season that we can. But you can totally get very respectable harvests from these very same plants, even just in your yard. And notice that nothing is messing with the taro, nothing messes with the yakan, nothing messes with the turmeric. These are beautiful plants that can be incorporated into a really nice landscape in your front yard, and you don't have to worry about deer eating them. You don't really have to worry about rabbits eating them. So yeah, definitely worth considering more tropical plants in your garden, even in the temperate zones. We can just grow them like annuals and bring them in at the end of the year, just like we do with sweet potatoes, which is also a tropical staple crop. So yeah, I hope you get out there and plant some tropicals, and maybe even this inspires you to get a little greenhouse going. Peace, family.